Hello, hello. I don't know if anybody's even on yet. I did not plan this. I did not schedule this. I just decided to go live. So if you are watching this after the fact, I don't know what's going to happen. If you join me right now, say hi. I am having just a quiet night. My wife is actually having a girls' night, and so they're all in the house. I can hear them laughing, which is fun. It's a fun sound. And she said, "Can you make yourself gone?" And I was like, well, I can go to the glass studio. That is certainly not asking me to do much or really anything different than I usually do on a random Wednesday night. So here I am. I see a few people joining in. Hello, hello. If you're in your studio, tell me what you're working on. I'm preparing for Vegas. No surprise. I've got so much to do to get ready, and so I am doing a little bit of I don't know, general prepping, making some examples of decal sun catchers using my brand new decal designs that are launching in Vegas. And so you're not going to see those. Don't get too excited. I'm not sharing them on the video, but I need to make some to have on display in the booth, and then ultimately to take pictures of to launch on my website and all the things. And so I'm just working on a little bit of housekeeping, getting some blanks cleaned up, and then I'm going to start to apply my decals here in a little bit. Hello, everybody. Hey, Patricia from Canada. Well, hello. I don't know what the weather is where you are, but we're having, I don't know what they call it, like fake spring or deception spring here. It's super warm and really nice, and I'm sure it'll get cold again and rainy and nasty, as it tends to do, but we were getting kind of fake spring here. So it was like 81 today or something, which was really pretty amazing. If you are joining in, drop a comment, tell me what you're doing, tell me where you're joining from. I am just working away and thought I would see if anybody was on Facebook Live. And I've done YouTube Lives before, but I'm not sure that I've ever done Facebook. I'm fairly certain that I have not, so this is a new thing to try. I'm pretty excited about these new decal designs that I've got that are coming out in about well, a little over a month. I'll debut them in Vegas, and then I'll add them to the website sometime after. But I like to take pictures of the finished products, and so I've got a couple of just different blanks here. This one is, kind of more muted jewel tones, and then this one is more bright. And I fired a whole bunch of blanks, and I'm going to add my decals to those. Greetings from Jay-Z in LA. Well, hello. Greetings. A little earlier for you than it is for me right now. Oh, you're coming to Vegas. Excellent. It's my first time, and never been as an attendee, never been as an exhibitor, and I guess I don't really do things half-baked. So I decided my very first time I'm going to have a booth. I think by now you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about the meet and greet that Tabitha and I are doing, but I don't go half in. I'm full in. So I'm hoping the crowd is awesome. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I've had they call it FOMO, fear of missing out, for the last couple of years, always wishing that I could go, and then particularly last year because Tabitha made a trip in, and so I said it doesn't matter what's going on, I'm going to make it happen this year. So I am super excited. So Jay-Z, have you been before? You're going to have so much fun. So that tells me that you probably have been there before, and you know what we're in for, is my guess. I see Susie has joined, Patricia has joined. Hello, everybody. There is nothing exciting happening right now. There's no biggest announcements coming, no big unveilings. just me, lonely, in the studio, and thought I would start a Facebook Live just for giggles. So I am working on applying these decals, and then I'll let them dry overnight and I'll fire them tomorrow. And that will be one step closer to the long, giant list of everything I have to get ready to do for Vegas. Hey, Jenny. I see Jenny is watching. I know Jenny's going to Vegas. Jerry is on. Hello. Okay, so J-Lo, your comment, I have to open it. Last year, since I was there for a conference that following weekend, so you scrambled and got there. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if you were there for a conference, then did work pay for that travel? Because that's even better than to have it expensed. That's going to be cool. My wife and I are driving, so we live in the Dallas area, and I have to haul like all of my product, which is heavy, and a booth and everything. So we've decided to drive. You wouldn't think these decals are very heavy. This is the back of one. This is not a reveal. Woo! Maybe you saw that. But they're paper, and when you put them all together, they're super heavy. And so I've got a lot of those. I've got other things that I'm introducing in the booth for the first time in Vegas that I'm bringing, and so just a lot of stuff. And I don't want to ship it because it's just going to cost a small fortune to ship. It's easier, and we have to get there anyway, so we're going to drive. It's like 18, 19 hour. Jenny, you would know. I guess it depends on how fast you drive, but 18 to 19 hour drive. And so we'll do it in 2 days. I'm not coming for any classes. I'm not teaching any classes. And I'm not taking any classes. So we're going to arrive on Wednesday. Booth setup for the expo is Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday night is the session with Tabitha that we're doing, which is going to be a blast. And then the expo is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we're driving out Monday. So we're not even spending too much time. So, hello, I see, Diane, Susie, Alicia, Elizabeth, Michelle, and nice. Okay. Good to see people are hopping on. I'm wearing, I realize as I'm wearing my safety glasses here, and all I'm doing is cleaning glass, but I had used the grinder, and so that's safety first, so I had the glasses on. But then I'm probably going to wear them this whole time, even though I'm just applying water slide decals, which is perhaps one of the safest things you can do in a studio. But I'm feeling so old, but these have a reader portion in the bottom, and so I actually keep them on because it helps me to see what the heck I'm actually doing. So there's a little hot tip for you if you haven't figured that out already. You can buy safety glasses that have reader strength to them, and so I'm going to keep wearing them just because it's going to help me see a little bit better as I'm working. So let me hang this back up. As I've already said to those of you who are just joining, I'm applying decals to some glass blanks in prep for Vegas and the launch of these 8 new decal designs, but I'm not actually sharing the design tonight, so you don't get too excited about something like that. I'm just working away, and thought it might be fun to get on a video. Hope everybody is doing well. It is warm here in Dallas. It's been quite nice the last couple of days. Magali, is that how you pronounce it? Magali, I'm guessing. Hello. Kathy, hello. You know what? I just launched into this and I don't have a plan, so I need to make an actual plan here. Okay. I'm thinking this is really compelling. Well, I was going to say television. It's not even television. Compelling social media. I'm probably making a bunch of noise and just contemplating my next move here. Hello, everybody. Tell us where you're joining from. So I'm applying my water slide decals. This is a relatively easy process. Goes a little bit better when you're actually paying attention to what you're doing and have made a plan in advance. It is not my plan to, kind of share or reveal the designs here, so I'm kind of carefully doing this in order not to give anything away, because that was not my intent of getting on Facebook. I was just getting on because I was a little bit bored and thought it might be nice to say hi and see who else was online tonight. And I've done this on YouTube before, but I have not done a Facebook Live. And so this is, I guess, one of the perks of having a Facebook account and following me over here. I'm not reading comments. What should I be doing? What made you decide to go to Vegas? Fear of missing out. I was totally loving all of the social media, the comments, the videos. Stephanie O'Toole from Creative Paradise, shoots a live every year. I know Paula McCoy well, and Jenny. I know that they always go. Gosh, Barbara Cashman's out there every year. Shorty, those of you know Shorty from Fusing 101. And then last year Tabitha went, and I thought, okay, I'm feeling like I'm really missing out. I gotta go. So that's what I decided. Now, I'm also running a business, and so felt like a good opportunity to go ahead and have a booth. But I've not gone before. I've not scouted it out before. I don't really know what to expect. Paula McCoy is such a kind friend, and so she's been kind of coaching me and giving me some ideas and things, little insights since she's gone for the last several years, and so that's been very helpful. As a matter of fact, I have another question that I wanted to ask her, but I decided I needed to go to Google first and try to figure it out myself before I bug her. But Paul, if you happen to be watching this, don't be surprised if you hear from me, because I have a question for you. But that's what made me decide to go, and I just think it's going to be super fun, and I don't want to miss out on the fun. So that's why I'm going. Gosh, lots of people comments. See, I'm not paying attention here. Oh, Z, thank you for the comments about the YouTube. It's fun. I have a good time. Doing it. So I'm thrilled that you guys can find value in it. So what I do is I soak the decal here in water, and sits in there for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. And then I pull it out and apply it to my glass, and then smooth it out with my finger and move on to the next one. So that's what I'm working on. And I've got some experiments here that I'm trying tonight. I'm not sure if these are gonna work out or not, but thought it would just be fun to try a little something different. Okay, 16 of you. Well, that's probably 16 more than I expected to get. Hello, everybody. So that's, let's see, that's about all that I can say about Vegas. I think it's going to be great. I posted about this yesterday. If you are going to Vegas and you are available and not taking a class, and you have nothing going on Thursday night, and you're interested in coming to see me and Tabitha, then I strongly encourage you to get your tickets like fast, because these have sold much quicker than I had expected that they would. And we have a big auditorium. It's like 300 people that fit, and we are very close to selling out at this point. So if you're on the fence about it, then get off the fence and come to our side and have fun with us, because I think it's going to be a blast. Asheville, North Carolina, Carol. I only drove through Asheville. We had a wedding in Charleston, and so we went to the other side of the peaceful side of the Smoky Mountains in Townsend, Tennessee, and stayed at a cabin in Townsend for a few days, and then we drove on to the coast, and we drove right through Asheville, and I would have loved to have visited. This was last September, before the flooding and crazy weather, but we didn't plan that time, so I would like to visit Asheville and come see it, because I think it would be cool. And I assume there's a pretty decent glass community there, but we just didn't leave ourselves time, so we literally just passed through on our way. But what a beautiful area of the country. It was really, really great. And we are kind of romanticizing the option of maybe moving there. Not to Asheville necessarily, probably more Eastern Tennessee, in an early retirement move in a couple of years. So it was a little bit of a scouting trip and kind of fun to check it out. Kathy from San Bernardino, California. Magali from Jupiter. Claremont. This is awesome. Lisa. joining from California. You have 2 projects in the kiln inspired by me. Can't wait to see them when the firing is done. See you at Vegas. Well, that's great. Thank you. Hey, share them when you've got them fired, and let us see them. Pick one of my posts on Facebook or something and share your photos. That's why I started this Facebook, was because you can't actually share photos and results and converse as much on YouTube as you can on Facebook. So I started the Facebook account to try to have a little bit more interaction than what we get otherwise. So it would be cool if you share with us. Okay, what else? You bought your ticket for the next meet and greet before you bought your flight and accommodate. Well, Kayleen, I can tell you that was probably a good move, because they sold quickly. Even the event organizer from Glass Expo, her name is Sky, and Sky commented like, "Dang, guys, I didn't know these would go quite as fast as they did." And I mean, we're gonna have a good time, but we also have a goodie bag, as you know. We're going to have some raffles and prizes, and the goodie bag is going to have all kinds of stuff in it that's certainly worth and maybe beyond $35, the price of admission. But I think it's just going to be a good time. So I appreciate all the support and people wanting to come out and see us. We're going to give some things away. Tabitha and I we both have messaged back and forth this week and said we really need to get on a call and try to plan some of this out. But we'll have some raffles and giveaways and stuff during the event itself for those people that have come. So I think it's going to be cool. British Columbia, hello. So I am super excited about meeting Tabitha. I have never met her. We've talked before. We've been on video calls before and such, but we have never actually met face to face, and so I think that's going to be a neat opportunity. It's so cool what the glass community is online, and even if you've never met, kind of the connections that you can form with people. I am quite lucky in that my Dallas area glass community here is really strong. There's a lot of us, right, Jenny? If Jenny's still watching. And the likes of Paula McCoy and others. So there's a good glass community here, and so that's cool. But I also just love the online glass community. I kind of messed up this decal, so I'm gonna see if I can fix it without you guys seeing what I'm doing here. I messed it up because I'm just not paying attention. I'm running my mouth and should be paying more attention to what I'm doing. But in Dallas, there's a lot of good fusing people. I mean, Dallas is big. We have a big population. Larry Pyle, for those of you who know Larry, is here. People like Kim Walker, who you see online quite a bit. There's just Nancy Bateman. Lots of cool people here in the Dallas area. But the online community is cool. Tabitha is one of those that I've found to be awesome. And I never started my YouTube channel with the intent of then launching a glass business like these decals, but that just kind of happened organically. And I never launched it thinking I was going to be in any kind of competition or anything with other YouTubers. Susan McGarry comes to mind, and Tabitha and the like, and Tabitha has never treated me as competition. We're just buds, both out there cranking out content and having fun. And I think she's been pretty open with it, so I don't feel like I'm sharing too much. But she has a milestone birthday this year. I have the same milestone birthday later this year, and so maybe she's just like a glass sister to me. Tabitha, you're sleeping at this point, but if you wake up and this hits your feed, I'm talking about you, and I'm super excited to meet you. Other comments. Staying an extra night, so excited for the meet and greet. That's cool, Janice. Carmen from Mount Vernon, Texas. Hello. Hello, Carmen. I see Daniel's on. So I'm just rambling, folks. For those of you who have joined, I started a live because I didn't have anything else going on, and I'm out here in the studio working. And now I'm trying desperately to make this decal work because I screwed it up. I think I'm gonna salvage it here. So my wife is having a girls' night, so I can hear her friends inside. She's got four, well, there's four of them, three other friends. They call themselves the Golden Girls and run around quite a bit. And she said, hey, the girls are coming over. Can you make yourself scarce? And I thought, yes, I will go to the studio. That's an easy request. So I'm just out here prepping for the Vegas Glass Expo, and thought I would turn on the phone camera and ramble away and see who was willing to join. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer your questions, those that I can reveal. Daniel, hello, how's your evening? It's great. I'm doing glass, and so any night that I'm working on glass is a good night as far as I'm concerned. Carolyn, hello from Missouri. The Show Me State, is that right? I'm trying to remember the motto. I think that's right. Okay, I'm just making sure my decal is well under the water here, so that I can slide it off my paper well. Kathy from Colorado, hello. The Show Me State, yes, I was right. Okay, good. So I don't know about y'all, but I was so busy leading up to Christmas. And sometimes you can kind of tell that because suddenly I've got a lot more content coming out on YouTube around that time of year. Because honestly, if I'm in the studio making something, I might as well film it, because it's decent content and you guys usually enjoy. Even if it's something I've made before, you kind of like to see it. Or I have new people joining the channel and they didn't see the first version. So anyway, there's usually a higher volume of videos in the month of December as I'm getting ready for Christmas shows and sales. But if you're anything like me, I was wiped out then in January. I took the whole month of January off. I did not come out to the studio. I didn't work on anything. I guess I worked on kind of thinking about the expo and marketing of sorts, and kind of getting ready, for that. But I didn't do any glass because I was just zonked. And so even February's been a little bit of a slow start. And then if you saw, I got that glass haul, holy smokes. And so that really did inspire me to get back out to the studio and get to work, mostly to try to process all of that glass, because I have such a small studio space out here, and such a difficult time trying to figure out where everything's going to fit. And if I didn't get it put away or dispositioned in terms of, selling it off or finding a home for it, I wasn't going to be able to work out here in the studio, because it was just taking over my entire space. My workbench was covered. And so I spent basically 2 full weeks, and there's more videos to come, 2 full weeks getting rid of some scrap that I didn't want by selling it. And then, putting everything away and stashing it away so that I could clean up my bench and get back to work like I'm doing right now. So that got me back out here. It inspired me to start to work, because anytime you get fresh new glass comes new ideas. As you might have seen, I posted a video this morning where I used a bunch of old stringer that this guy had, Vitrograph stringer, and created some hearts, fused glass hearts, using that stringer. So, but I've got more videos coming, so keep tuned in, because I've got some new ideas. There's one in the kiln right now using some of the glass that I got from him. Okay, gosh, I'm rambling on and I'm missing a bunch of topics. Okay, lots of people watching, people comparing where you are. Carolyn, born in Texas. I was not. I'm a transplant that moved here 15 years ago this year. Love the hearts on your latest video. Do you mind telling me how much you sell them for in the small frames? So, listen, I probably don't sell them for enough. But they don't take a lot of effort. And in my opinion, they're scrap. And so it's a way to kind of move them on. And it's a way to offer glass and something handmade and somewhat touching at a really low price point. So there are little bitty hearts sometimes that I make and sell, and those are just $3. But the larger hearts, like the ones I posted today, I sell for $5. $5. But, and then the frame I sell for $1. And so what I find is a fairly high volume of sales of hearts. I go to shows and I sell a lot of hearts, and it's just scrap for me. So it's a great way to clean out my studio, to keep things a little tidy, to get rid of some unwanted glass. And $5, those frames are so cheap on Amazon anyway. I think per frame they end up being about 60 cents. I sell them for $1. So there's a little margin in it, but I'm not in it to make money. But the number of kids that want a heart, and then the parents will buy a heart because it's a $5 thing, maybe $6 if they spring on the frame. So I think some people sell them for quite a bit more. And if it included dichro, I might think a little bit differently about it. Now, pink glass is not cheap, but it came cheap to me because I bought it at a glass buyout. So I don't charge a lot, and frankly, probably charge less than just about anybody else. But that one heart mold from Creative Paradise has 12 hearts in it. Times $5 a piece, that's $60. Now, I do not have $60 of glass or kiln costs or even much time in those, because they're kind of a one and done. You pop them out and they're good to go. So for me, I think that it's a really nice entry point for people. And some people end up buying 2, 3, 4 hearts, and suddenly I got a $24, $25 sale, and I feel like it was nothing for me. So Carmen, that's my answer. It's my philosophy on it. Everybody's probably going to do it differently. And I could probably sell them for more. Maybe if I did more dichro, I would. And I got a lot of dichro, so I probably need to start using it up. But I don't charge a lot. Not for those. You go to a market, you kind of know your audience. And so that's it. Okay. Magali's asking if I got rid of stained glass. I really didn't have much stained glass. The artist had stained glass in his stash, but I didn't buy that. And so, and Bullseye, particularly if you've been using it for a while, you kind of know what the Bullseye is. And so I was careful not to really bring home any of the stained glass. So nothing much to get rid of there. There was a piece I posted that I said, does anybody know what this is? And we, through crowdsourcing, determined it was lacy white. And stay tuned for a video on that. But other than that, I pretty much knew what all the glass was. It was either marked or really well segregated. And so not a lot of mystery. So somebody else is talking about how do you get your haul, or talk about your hauls. So again, as I started to say earlier, I am privileged to live in a large market like Dallas, where there are lots of people and a fairly strong fusing community. And so I come across these maybe a little bit more than what others might, depending on where you live in the world. But I usually find, there was a time where I found a couple on Craigslist, but I usually find it on Facebook Marketplace. And if you use Facebook Marketplace at all, you know that you can set up searches and do a saved search. And so I saved the search, and I'm searching for not just fused glass. I've got a saved search for that, but I've got a saved search for kiln, for stained glass, I think glass supplies, a variety of things, because so I'll tell you about this most recent one. The estate, the people who were managing the estate, they didn't know what all of this glass was. They didn't really know that there was fusible glass versus stained glass versus lamp working glass. They had no idea. They just opened the shed and went, holy crap, there's a kiln and a bunch of glass here, and we don't know what to do with it. And so what they had originally posted were kilns. There were 2 kilns that they posted. And so I reached out and said, hey, I see you have 2 kilns. Is there any chance that you have any glass? And here was the first tip for me was the artist who had passed away on one of the kilns. He had scribbled the word vitrograph, and that's a clear sign that was a fusing artist, most likely, fair assumption. And so she wrote back and said, yeah, there's a ton of glass. And she sent me a bunch of photos, and she said, we just haven't listed that yet. And so I said, well, I'd like to come by and take a look at what you have. Some of that looks like fusible glass, and there's 2 types of fusible glass, and I use Bullseye, And from what I can tell in the photos, that looks like it might be the same brand. And I could tell that there were some rolled edges, which was kind of the giveaway there. And at a very far distance, the photo was crummy. I think she had a bad phone. But at a long distance, I could kind of maybe in my imagination see a bullseye sticker. So then she said, well, I'm not at the house anymore, but I'll go back tomorrow. And then she sent me some photos, and sure enough, it was bullseye glass. I said, well, I'd like to come back tonight and take a look at what you've got. I'm not interested in the kilns. I don't need kilns. But I can take a look at your glass and kind of make you an offer on that. And then I'm really well networked in the Dallas area, and I might help you get rid of your kilns too. And so she's like, great. So that's kind of how it all happened. I went to her house, or to his house, the estate, and we looked at everything, and I made her an offer based on what I could see, but I'm telling you, that place was disgusting, and there were boxes everywhere, and we were kind of crawling over stuff, and it was so difficult to navigate. And so I said, look, based on what I think is in here, this is what I think is a fairly fair price. And she said, yeah, that sounds good. And so I paid her a 50% deposit. I said, I'm going to bring 2 cars and my wife and some friends, because there's, this is going to take a little bit on Sunday. And so we'll come back. And so we went back on Sunday. And then as we started pulling it out, there was more and there was more. And I had never seen anybody store their full glass sheets on the side. I've always seen, glass sheets stood up tall, but he had them on the side. But because he had them on the side, I thought they were half sheets of glass. And as we started pulling it out, they were full sheets. And so I paid her double what my original offer was based on, what we were uncovering and finding. And she was thrilled. And I explained to her the difference between fusing glass and stained glass. She found somebody else who wanted the stained glass, and somebody that took the kilns and the lamp working. So it all worked out for everybody. We all ended up happy in that. But that's the thing. I just look for, because again, if it's somebody with an estate, they just see art glass. They don't know the difference between fusing and bullseye and Oceanside 9690, stained glass versus fusing glass. They know none of this. And so they're just going to post sheet glass or art glass or stained glass. They might post a kiln. And so I jumped on that and said, I see the kiln and I don't need that, but do you have any glass? And I've done that now several times, and it seems to work out fairly well for me each time. So that's that. I'm missing comments here. So let me scroll back. I need somebody just to read to me here. Okay, hello from Tennessee. Hello. Deb, I was just talking about visiting Tennessee last fall. We went to Eastern Tennessee, to the Knoxville, Maryville, and Townsend area, and stayed at a cabin in Townsend. It was lovely. You loved the Vitrograph use in the heart video. Good, Suzanne. Honestly, I just looked at that and thought, how can I use this? Because I couldn't store it. There was too much. And honestly, I felt a little overwhelmed by it, because I don't want to waste any glass. I think we're all in the same category. Like, there's no such thing as scrap in our studios. There's a use for every, I need to be soaking this. There's a use for every single piece. And so the idea of seeing that Vitrograph go to waste, I wasn't going to throw it away. It looked very difficult to try to ship and have it arrive in any kind of condition, so I felt compelled to use it and figure it out. But I also didn't think I was going to stretch it out into project after project, so making the part sheet and turning it into hearts like I did, I thought worked out pretty well. So I don't know that I would pull all of that Vitrograph just to do that. It was clearly a case where it made more sense, in the way that I was using it, to kind of use it up. But I'm glad you liked it, because I liked it. Okay. Hi from Naples. Hello. Kathy would use those fat rods and lots of stuff. Just instant clear dots. Totally. They would make great dots. And I thought they could make, maybe if used the right way, they could be an interesting component to get some neat designs in, like a flow melt thingy. So I've stashed them away. Those I did not want to get rid of. So those are pretty cool. 10 millimeters. Those are really cool. Daniel, fun but stupid question. Your garage houses your kiln, so is mine. It's unheated, so is mine. You have a digital thermometer. You won't run the kiln and the temp is near 32 degrees in the garage. Are you being overly cautious? I think you are. I run my kiln. I mean, I run my kiln when it's 100 degrees in the garage, but I'll also run it if it's cold in the garage. I don't care. I might change my ramp and slow my ramp down for the temperature, because if the garage is that cold, then your glass is probably that cold, and so you wouldn't want to shock the glass. But yeah, I run the kiln any temperature. In the summer, it's so hot here, and I run the kiln anyway because I got projects and I got videos I'm creating for you, and I got commissions and whatnot. One year, it was already so naturally hot outside, and I crack the garage door and I run fans and I do everything I can, but it still heats up. You know, it's summer in Texas. And I had a case of Cokes, and about half of them exploded because it got so hot in the garage, it exploded my Cokes or soda. So, you know, there's some risks, I guess, but it had nothing to do with the kiln or the glass. But yeah, I run it when what anybody else think? Feel free to comment and respond, but I do it that way. Carmen, wonderful pricing of the hearts. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. I don't think there's a lot of, I don't know, trade secrets, if you will. Paula McCoy's watching now. Look out, everybody. Paula, I was talking about you earlier. So you might have to go back and watch a little bit. Thanks for the tip on safety glasses with the readers feature. Yeah, totally. That's why anybody new joining, probably wondering, why is he wearing safety glasses and doing water slide decals? And it's totally because there's reader magnification here at the bottom, and it helps me see a little bit better. I have a milestone birthday this year, and I am telling you, I am feeling every bit of that number. So I'm turning 50 this year, and so I feel it. So I'm just working on decals. I'm not showing them to you, so I'm sorry. There's nothing very exciting about that, but working on some designs, trying to pay attention to what I'm doing here, and I'm running my mouth and not tuned in. Let's see here. I think I'll do this one. Daniel, thank you. We've had so many below freezing days. I didn't want to break it. I don't think you're going to hurt your kiln. I mean, there could be somebody that disagrees with me. I'd contact your kiln manufacturer, frankly. Paragon, GenCan are both super responsive. They'll give you a real quick answer and just go back to the source. But because they're both very responsive. I can't speak to other kiln manufacturers because I've not talked to any kiln manufacturers, but both GenCan and Paragon are really quick to respond to stuff. So I just reach out to them and get an official answer versus those of us online who are guessing sometimes, like I am. Where did you get the reader safeties? I got them on Amazon. And funny story, you know, I usually think Amazon's fairly reliable, but I got the readers in the mail the first time I ordered them, and I only need like 1.5 magnification, maybe 2 or something, and they were like 5.5. They were crazy. I couldn't see out of them, and so I contacted Amazon. I was like, "You sent me the wrong ones," and then these came, and I really like them. I use them now fairly consistently, and I have no idea what the magnification is, but I like them. There's just a little spot in there, and they've become my go-tos now for every time I'm out here in the studio. So one of the things I'm doing, and I've had these decals now a couple of years, and I get this question a lot, and I've just never, I don't know, I've never taken the chance to try it out, but I get a question about, can you use them on irid glass? And so this is some beautiful, it's not red, it's almost kind of a violet cranberry. I bet it's cranberry, with a rainbow irid on it. This came out of that glass haul, and so I cut me some circles, and I'm going to apply. I think you can. That's always been my answer, but it's so funny. I've got just so much stuff going on that I haven't even fully tested that concept myself, and I decided this time I should do that. So we're going to see how these come out. Can't show it to you though because it's super secret. Bragger, only 1.5. Yeah, well, okay, so I'm stepping into it, Lynn. I don't know what your number is, but yeah, I have different readers. Some are 1.5, I think some are 1.75. It just kind of depends on what I found at the store that day or something, but they're scattered all over the house and at work. And but the safety readers, I'm digging. Okay, so early feedback is this decal slid onto the irid glass just like normal. As a matter of fact, maybe even a little bit better, if I'm being totally honest. So I think it's going to fire on there just fine. The irid's not going to change it. I pre-fired these blanks, so I've got a couple that are all pre-fired. I just put them in the kiln at about, what was this one? 1375 for 15 minutes, which does nothing more than basically just kind of soften the edges a little bit, and it's not rough cut glass then. They really don't shrink much at that temperature, and this is just a single layer of glass. And so I cut some irid circles and just some other, kind of solid colors. Man, that's pretty. And so I pre-fired those, and now I'm just applying the decals to those. Okay, Melissa, currently cleaning up the garage and your glass spot because your husband decided to cut some wood. I have ordered a sign that says, "Stay out or buy something." That's awesome, Melissa. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, 27 people on. Hello, everybody. Carolyn, can you talk about your video setup when you do your making videos? You going to compete with me and go into the glass video business, Carolyn? Truly, I don't care. I am so crazy basic. So I use the iPhone that I'm talking on right now. I have a little overhead mount thing that it clamps into. I bought it on Amazon. As a matter of fact, it might even be in my Amazon store, but it's just like an overhead little camera mount for our iPhone mount. I stick that in the kiln, or in the kiln. I stick my phone into the mount, and then I just work and film it that way. And you can probably tell it is not high production. You can hear me breathing sometimes in the audio. There's a glare because these dumb lights in the garage. So there's often a glare on my glass. If I were, building out a studio to be a YouTube studio, I would have done this probably differently, and maybe in the future I will. But right now it's just homemade and homegrown, and then I'm filming it on my iPhone, which is connected to the iCloud, and so then the videos, photos, everything go to the cloud, and then I pull that down on my iPad, and then I just use the free iPad software, the Apple software, iMovie, to produce the video. That's all there is to it. So not a lot of special equipment. I have some goofy. There's a little tripod that I'll use sometimes when I'm not working right over my cutting station, which is where I work most of the time. But I have a goofy little tripod that I have stored up there right now, and so I'll do that for tied in overhead shots if I'm somewhere else. If I'm filming stuff as I'm loading the kiln, that thing I can kind of clamp it onto the handle of the kiln. I have a real weird one that goes around my neck, and I've used that in some videos, and I really don't like it because the point of view, it's all shaky and weird and not cool. But, it works sometimes, and so I'll sometimes use that. That's about it. So I will be the first to admit my videos are not polished, but just this little overhead mount, and, it was like a $50 or $60 investment, and then probably another 20 or 30 for one of the holders and 20 for the other, but not a lot of money here. And then I use the free software on the iPad to edit. Is the clamp mount mounted to the ceiling? No, it clamps onto the side of the workbench here, so it's got this arm. I guess I could show you, but my area is a mess. But it's got this arm that clamps and it goes up and comes over, and then I clamp my phone to it. I don't even know if I'm pointed in the right direction, but it's really pretty basic and just clamps onto the side of my workbench. Okay. Shelly from Mesa, Arizona. Hello. Lynn, love the videos. Looking forward to meeting you at the expo. I think this is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Linda from Arlington. Can you share the firing schedule for the freeze and fuse pieces? It's in, I did one or two videos on freeze and fuse, and the schedule's in there. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head, Linda, but if you go back to my YouTube video and open up the video notes, I almost always try to put stuff like firing schedules in there. And honestly, there's freeze and fuse groups on Facebook. You're probably familiar with them, and could probably find a reliable schedule there faster than what I had done in my YouTube. But I don't remember off the top of my head. There are some schedules that I have memorized, but I don't do freeze and fuse often enough to have memorized that one. Sorry. Paula McCoy, hi. Paul, earlier I was talking about you, that you've been very helpful in giving me some advice about Vegas, and I have another question, but I've resisted texting you, Paula, because I know you know the answer, and I know you're so kind, but I also feel like I take advantage sometimes of our friendship, and so I'm going to Google it first and see if I could find a tight answer on Google, and if I can't, then I might still come to you. But Paula McCoy is amazing. I'm sure most of you know exactly who she is with Colors for Earth. Her channel is amazing. Her content is amazing. She's like the master of glass and ceramics and enamels and paints, and is just so kind and free giving with her knowledge, and I am lucky to call her a friend. I am luckier that she lives near, in the vicinity. I think Paula's probably about an hour and 20 minutes from me, maybe not quite that far. I've even gotten a personal house visit from Paula McCoy, so she's a gem and is a treasure in the glass community. So buttering her up because she gives me good content. Call me anytime. I will, Paula. You know me. I'm not shy, but I'm also trying to not bug you because I know you're super busy. Suzanne, any thoughts on how to do green hearts and pull them together for shamrocks? Did I do that? If I didn't do that, I had the idea to do that. I don't think I did it with the hearts from the heart mold. I did it with some like little heart Murini once, I think. I think you could fire, I guess if it were me, I'd fire the hearts. Then I'd put them back in the kiln, literally touching each other in the shape of a shamrock, and then I'd fire it again to kind of like a tack fuse or maybe a contour fuse, and tack them together that way. And I think that would work if you don't want to put them on a piece of base glass. If you put them on a piece of base glass, then that's easy. Lisa says she loves Paula. She's amazing and so talented. I agree. Paula is. Let's start a Paula McCoy fan club, shall we? Kathy, I noticed you fuse the hearts along with other full fuse projects. This is my challenge. Everything's a different schedule. Yeah, I guess I set my schedule for the most conservative thing in the kiln. So if it, I had another project in there that was a simple 2-layer 6mm piece. Something like that does not need to be annealed, very long, but the hearts I anneal for about 2 hours, and so that's fine. So the other piece sat in there a little longer. I was okay with that. The main thing, I guess, is top temperature, and I'll slow the ramp down if there's things that require a slow ramp, and the other things don't. That's okay. They're just along for the ride. So maybe I'm certainly don't think I'm, being super risky, or I'm any kind of, renegade or anything. I just, if there's not a high cry factor, then I give it a shot. So I guess I would encourage you to do the same thing. Just look across the load and say, what needs the most conservative schedule here? And if I think everything else will survive that, slower ramp or longer anneal or something, then I go for it. As a matter of fact, so these decals, are going to go in. My decals fire at about 1200 degrees in my kiln for 30 minutes. I have a slumping project. 1200 is about a slump temp. Now, it does not need to slump for 30 minutes. It only needs to slump for about 5 or 10 minutes. But 30 minutes isn't going to hurt it. So I'm going to put the slump thing, and it's big. It's a big mold. So that'll take up 60% of my kiln, and I'm going to tuck all these decal pieces all the way around it and fire it all on the same schedule. It'll be fine. So that's an example of trying to load up the kiln and do it that way. Sure, Kathy. Hope that helps. Bales. Oh, so Lisa, I'm scrolling back. Have you thought about making the lamp work bales yourself with a beginner hothead torch? I actually have a beginner hothead torch, and I haven't tried it yet. I bought it in a glass buyout. Somebody was selling on Amazon a bunch of rods and the hothead torch and some other odds and ends, and so I jumped on it with the pure intention of knowing the glass does not go bad. It's not going to spoil. And so I put it up here in my storage overhead. And I thought someday when I've got more time and I wanted to kind of teach myself something, then I'll do that. But honestly, the honest answer is I am way too busy. And so I found an amazing artist community that supplies those for me. And they love me and I love them, and I'm busy. I've got a full-time corporate job, and they can do those in bulk for me. Now it takes them a while, but it works out so well. And so would I like to do them on my own? Absolutely. It would be cool to have those skills and that kind of time, but I do not. So I let somebody else make them for me, and then I resell them, and I think they are amazing. The craftsmanship and the quality is second to none, in my opinion. So, and I have seen some of the competitors out there who copied my idea, and they're nice, but I like mine the best. Just saying. Okay, trying to pay attention to what I'm doing and talk at the same time. Okay, I don't know if this one's going to work. This one is truly a little bit of a risk, but I'll show it to you. You don't get to see the finished product, but I will show you. Ooh, that one really curled up on me as I put it in the water. Look at this. I fired Dichro. I did a whole giant piece of Dichro and fired that. And so I'm going to apply a decal to that. Now, what gives me a little heartburn is the amount of texture that's on there. And so that's the only thing that I worry is it's not really blinging out as much as it is in person. But anyway, I'm a little worried about the amount of texture that's still on there. And the decal not having too many air bubbles. So that's going to be the risk with this piece. But it's going to be fun. Carolyn, thanks for all you do to share. It's been great seeing your progress, growing your audience. So I laugh because my daughter is a freshman in college, and she was texting me earlier, and she started this conversation. Just to be fair, I can talk about glass all day long with anybody, but she's away at school, and she texted me kind of out of the blue, and she said, "Hey, that peacock piece that you made last year," which is sitting in our dining room, I think she was trying not to insult me. She's super sweet. She says, "If you don't sell it and it's still around years from now, I would like to have it because it's one of my favorite pieces that you've ever made." And my kids have been nice and kind of, supportive of my glass adventure here, but nobody else is really interested in glass. What I think she was saying was like, "Hey, tag me in the estate for that because I want that thing someday, but does not want to insult me about dying." So she's like, and I told her, I said, "Well, I'm actively trying to sell it because that's why I make glass is to sell it. But I hear you loud and clear. It's sweet that you like it." And so then we got to talking about glass, and she says, "I was talking about you in one of my classes today." My wife also runs a small business, and so she was talking about how both parents have a small business. And then she asked me, "How's Vegas shaping up?" And I said, "Oh, it's good." And so I was sharing with her about this meet and greet that Tabitha and I are doing. Okay, while I'm rambling along, the decal slid on here much better than I thought it would. So maybe this is going to turn out nice. Anyway, so I was telling her about the meet and greet and that it's almost sold out already and how crazy that is. And she responds to me and says, if you had asked me 6 or 8 years ago if my dad would be, what did she say? I wish I could pull up the text. And she said, if I could tell you that my dad was going to be a micro influencer in the glass community selling out a show in Vegas, I would have told you that you were crazy. And she's absolutely right. I would have told her the same thing, that she's crazy. So anyway, so the audience has grown. Thank you for the comment. And both kids have been kind of blown away. So while they have not been interested in glass, they're both Gen, what are they? Gen Z, I guess, and have, you know, grown up with social media. And so while, I mean, they're very kind about my glass work, and that's cool and all, but they're kind of blown away by the YouTube following and now the Facebook following and all the things. And so that's what they actually think is a little more cool. So my kids are cool and they're fun and they're sweet. And so your comment made me laugh because I was literally before getting on here texting with her, and she's like, I would not have believed you if you told me. And I completely agree with her. I wouldn't have believed anybody either. But the community has grown, and I love that. I think that is so fun. Lisa, just watched the peacock video today. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Paula, use a Q-tip to push the decal into the textured areas of the dichro. Fully agree. And what I'm actually going to do, I think I did a pretty good job, but it's kind of hard to see when it's wet. And so I'm going to let it dry and then come back and check for bubbles. And what you can do is poke a little hole, just use a little, safety pin or something, or even the little point of an X-Acto knife to poke a hole in the decal and then kind of press the air out that way. That's another way to do that. So I think, and that's so much easier to see once the decal is dried on there. So that's another way that I can, kind of address that, that texture. Suzanne, love the peacock piece. Big Texas State Fair winner, right? Yeah, it won the blue ribbon, and not just any blue ribbon. It won the professional blue ribbon. So the state fair rules, there are all kinds of categories and subcategories for glass and stuff for amateurs. But technically, if you read the rule book, it says if you sell your work, then you should enter as a professional or a teacher. If you're a teacher or you sell your work professionally. And look, I sell my stuff at art shows and in galleries and on my own website. So I enter as a professional. Well, if you enter as a professional, you're quite limited in terms of what the categories are, and you can only enter one thing, and that's it. And so in the amateur categories, I could enter, 5 different fused glass pieces and go for a higher ribbon count. But I try to do it the right way, and I enter as a professional. And so I'm only allowed one thing. So that peacock was my one and done in the professional glass category, and it won the blue ribbon. So I was pretty proud of that, because I feel like that's a little bit of a higher bar. So thank you. But yes, daughter loved that peacock piece and has now laid claim to it in, I'm saying the estate. That's not what she said, but I that's essentially the vibe I was getting from her. So, I could be doing this so much faster, but my intention is to put another decal into soak while I'm applying this decal, and I'm not actually, I keep forgetting to do that. So I could be doing this a little bit quicker. Okay, who else? What questions do you have? I think I'm caught up on questions and comments, but if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. If you're just joining, I'm working on some decals for the Vegas show. These are the 8 new designs that I'm going to launch in Vegas. And so I'm not showing you the designs. I'm just working here. And I've been accused of being a big tease before, and I will own it. I am kind of a big tease, I guess. But I want to unveil these in Vegas, and I want to have samples already made up. And so that's what I'm working on, is getting my samples ready to go. Which is why I'm not showing them to you, but I'm having fun making them. And I have to pay a lot of attention to try to make sure that it's really well centered, and I got all the bubbles out. And then as a result, I'm kind of missing your comments. Lots of people joining. Roberta, Sherry, Kristen, Paige. Hello, everybody. What's my next move here? I have the garage door open because it's so nice tonight, the weather. It was actually kind of warm in the garage, and so the garage door is open, and I think if anybody's walking past, they're just hearing me in here talking to myself. I'm talking to you, but nobody knows that. It sounds like I'm just in here talking to myself. Suzanne, good night. Thanks for the glass conversation. Hope to see more of these lives. This is my first Facebook Live. I've done YouTube, but not Facebook, and it's kind of fun. Kristen, give the peacock and blue ribbon to your daughter for a present. She's proud of you and she'll treasure it. You're right. I know, you're right. And as my wife said, you can make another one, and I could, and so I need to embrace that. At this point, she's a college girl, and I don't think that peacock would survive the dorm. But at some point, when she has launched and has her own place, then that is something that I should do, or make her something extra special that I know she would love. She's a Broadway kid, and so it would be kind of fun to take inspiration from a Broadway show, from Wicked or something, and make her something. I think she would find that really neat as well. Other comments. Kathy, what kind of thing will be featured in the demo for the meetup? Kathy, I can't talk about that. It is a collaborative project between me and Tabitha. So we are working together to create something that I don't think, I know I have not done on my channel. She may have a while back, so I'm not saying it's a regurgitated idea because we're doing it differently, but she may have done this project on her video before, but she had the idea. She said, hey, what if we fill in the blank? And I said, I love that, and let's do it. So we are co-creating a project that we are going to show off and talk about the process at the expo during our session. Sorry, I'm just looking around to make sure I'm not missing something here that I need to be working on. Daniel, have a nice evening. Early day tomorrow. Can't wait for the next live. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you were here. Jane is on. Deb is on. Give me something to talk about. Ask me a question, and I will try to answer it if I feel like I'm not violating any confidentiality. I'm super excited about Vegas. Carmen, wish I could make it to Vegas. I know your meet and greet will be a huge success. Can't wait to hear all about it. Thank you. You gotta come sometime. I don't know if we'll do it next year. I think we're going to see how it goes this year, but like, I don't know, is that something somebody would want to do 2 years in a row? So I think we'll see how this year goes, what the reception was, and then see if we decide to do something next year. Same approach, different ideas. What do you think? So we'll see how it goes this year, but I think I'm not setting out to do this as just a one and done, because I think it would be fun to do something year after year, but let's see how it goes, I guess. But yes, come out, Carmen. You need to come. I am assuming that my exhibitor booth will be successful and I'll want to come back year after year. I don't know if we'll do a formal meet and greet and sell tickets and do all that kind of stuff again. We'll see. But I'm super looking forward to Vegas. And I'll do some videos and stuff from the show floor, so that'll be fun as well. Shoot, see, I'm talking here, and then I don't have one ready to go. Esther, can't wait to see my two favorite people together. Looking forward to meeting you both. I'm looking forward to meeting Tabitha. It's going to be fun to meet everybody else, but I haven't even met Tabitha myself, so I think it's going to be fun. You like using Vitrograph, but don't have a Vitrograph kiln? Why not? Honestly, Lisa, it's because I don't have the space. I am so cramped in this garage. So eventually, yes, I should have one. I also have some great glass friends who live nearby, so I can go to their place and maybe pull vitrograph. That's how I did the peacock piece. I went to a friend's house and pulled at their vitrograph kiln. So the answer is I'd love to have one. I just don't have space. There's absolutely no way I can accommodate that. But someday when I retire and we move and we settle somewhere and I build out like a full-blown glass studio, I'm gonna have all the kilns. Kathy, have you tried the decals on 2mm? I have, and it works with some size alterations. I have not. So yeah, I would think that, with 2mm, it might shrink up a little bit. So you have to kind of plan for that, but I have not done 2mm glass. That's, I'm glad to hear you have. I've done it on float glass. Honestly, not with any kind of dimensions or significant firing. I was just trying to see if I could make it work on float, and it did. But I have not, intentionally done, kind of a 2mm finish piece. That would lighten it and make it, perhaps an even safer or better sun catcher or ornament, because it wouldn't be so heavy. So I like that idea. I just haven't done that. Paige, where do you get your inspiration? You're just up the road in OKC. Paige, I guess it comes from all sorts of places. Some of it is, I'm sure I spend too much time on Facebook. And so I watch, or Instagram, I watch the reels. I have a TikTok account, but I'm rarely on there. But I watch the reels and watch what other people are doing, not from a glass perspective, but I get sucked into the weirdest stuff. My algorithm is so messed up, but I love watching wood turning. I end up on a lot of resin videos. I love watching pottery, people using a pottery wheel. I love watching people coloring and painting, watercolors, other, painting artists, oil, whatever. And then the latest one seems to come from cookie decorating. I got sucked into cookie decorating videos and stuff, and I just find those to be inspirational. I love watching other artists do art in their medium, whatever it happens to be. And I find that stuff to be kind of inspiring. And so I don't know that you see that so much in my finished work, but I find that stuff to be pretty inspiring. So I end up watching a whole bunch of random content that may have nothing to do with glass. Sharon, hello from Michigan. Kathleen, what are you bringing to your exhibitor booth? So, Kayleen, sorry, I can't read. Kayleen, I'm bringing my full set of decals. So I have 20 designs, but 8 of them are going to be new that are being debuted in Vegas. So you'll see them for the very first time there. So I'm bringing all 20 designs of my my decals. I'm bringing glass bales, and I'll have those in the booth. And then I have secrets. I have other tricks up my sleeve that I think you will love. So I'm not going to talk about it necessarily, but let's say safely, I will have more than just decals and bales. And it's going to be worth a visit, because I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that I'm going to have there. So, and I'll do some demos in the booth. We're going to have some friends in the booth with me. I don't know if I can give that away, but somebody who happens to be on this video feed right now is actually going to be helping me out in the booth. And so we're going to have, it's just going to be glass fun happening in the booth. So for sale, decals, bales, a couple of other super secret but fun surprises. And I will share in advance. I just don't want to share now. And here's why. This is going to sound a little snotty, but I'm kind of competitive. And there's too much time between now and the expo. And I don't want anybody else to take my idea, to be honest with you. So I'm not telling everybody, because they could scramble and try to copy me. And I've had that happen recently, as if you might have saw my video or my post about the Amazon t-shirts. And so I'm keeping everything pretty close. Probably about a week out from Vegas, I may share on my YouTube what some of my plans are. I'm not committing to that. That's a maybe. But I'm not sharing right now, because honestly, because I don't have to. So I'm not gonna. Okay, what else am I missing? Comment-wise. Deb, do you ever plan to do just glass and leave the corporate world? Yes, that is absolutely, Deb, my master plan. So much so that I have already predetermined my early retirement date from corporate life, and I have a countdown timer or like an app on my phone counting down the days until I early retire. Now, there are lots of things, lots of variables and things in this world that could change that. I have 2 kids off to college, which is quite expensive. But if everything goes according to plan, they will graduate without any student debt. Our house will be paid off. And then the only big question, in the United States anyway, becomes healthcare. And we are aggressively saving so that I can retire at 55 and then go full time into glass, which means for me, some version of a large local studio where I can teach, and maybe some travel teaching and going to other glass studios and doing that, and continuing to develop who knows what comes after, or in addition to decals and bales. There's other things up in this mind here. And so maybe launching other products and continuing kind of the B2B side of things, continuing making finished glass art, which is kind of more the consumer facing side of what I'm doing. And so that is absolutely the plan, Deb. So I love glass. I'm passionate about it. But glass does not right now have a 401k or stock options or anything like that. So I'm doing the corporate gig, and then we'll walk away from that with my head held high and move full time into glass. Kim asks how I got into glass. It was I'm pausing because I actually just worked on an artist statement. Does anybody else have an artist statement? So this is not, for the fusing population. This is for my finished glass art. But as I'm trying to get into more galleries and stuff, I thought it would be important to have kind of an artist statement. And so my artist statement shares that story, which is basically, as a young boy, I went to this old German Catholic kind of Romanesque style church that was built in the mid 1800s, and had these gorgeous, amazing stained glass windows. And I would sit and listen. I'd listen to the homily from the priest. But I was also 5 and 6 years old and get distracted. And I just found that I fell in love with those glass windows. I was staring at those windows in awe and looking at how the sunlight would come in those windows and cast this beautiful light all over the floor, all over the congregation. And I was taken with the artistry and the skill and the man hours that went into making these enormous, church windows in this old German Catholic church. And so that started my love of glass. And then my wife and I got married, and her grandfather did stained glass, copper foil, made some lamps and lots of sun catchers and whatnot. And we had only been married a couple of months, and we went to visit him in Pennsylvania on a long weekend. And I said, Ray, I have always been fascinated with stained glass, and this is something I want to do someday. And he's like, well, let's go to the basement. He lived in Pennsylvania. They had a basement, and that's where his workshop was. And he dragged me downstairs, and 10 minutes later, I'm cutting glass and the soldering iron is warming up and we're getting out the copper foil, and we went to town, and I was hooked ever since. And so I did stained glass, all self-taught. This was back in the day of going to the library. Those of you who have been around a while may remember that on PBS there was Glass with Vicky Payne, and I recorded that on my VHS tape and watched Glass with Vicky Payne. I never took any classes. It was all self-taught. But God, I just loved glass and fell in love with it. Did stained glass for a number of years, and then about 6 years ago moved into fusing glass because I was always interested in hot glass. But it's too expensive. It's very expensive, as you all know. And stained glass isn't cheap either. But I decided that now, many years later, after we had moved to Texas and I had the corporate job and was doing okay, I actually made some money, and I was like, this time I'm going to do what I wanted to do. So I got rid of all the stained glass, bought a kiln, moved into fusing, and I have never looked back. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Kathy, you're cracking me up. Yes, it is not resin. You have a whole Pinterest board called It Could Be Glass. Exactly. So that's very inspiring. It could be glass. I love that. Can't wait to see your booth. Lisa, I don't know that my booth is very sexy, but the stuff in there is going to be fun, and it's going to be me and my wife and some other glass friends. And so come by and say hi and take pictures, and it's going to be fun. Lisa says, keep it a surprise. I'm inclined to do that. Gosh, lots of people on. Jay-Z, sounds like a wonderful plan. Check out the website and podcast. Choose Fi. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you for the recommendation. I love podcasts. Rachel says hi from South Florida. Yeah, Kim, happy to share. Thanks for asking the question. Other questions? I've got 20 more minutes in me here before I'm going to be done. So you're welcome to stay on. You're welcome to hop off. I'm just rambling. Kathy, my mother-in-law and father-in-law had a stained glass business. They even built one for Roy Rogers. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. So here I am not a patient man. And so I found that the precision that was needed for copper foiling stained glass, and then kind of a little bit of the mess, to be honest, of soldering and flux and patinas and all that. I liked making art. I did not like all of that process and precision. And so fusing really spoke to me. And if I can get a little sentimental for a bit, I mean, because I had been doing stained glass for years, I got the Delphi catalog for years and years and years, and I would pour through that catalog. I obviously was looking for stained glass. In Indiana, we lived about 45, not even 35 minutes from the Kokomo glass factory, so I bought lots of Kokomo glass and was spoiled and got to do a factory tour, and it was really awesome. So those of you who live near a Bullseye Resource Center, I totally get how amazing that is, because I wish that we did. But anyway, so I got that Delphi catalog, and I would look at the stained glass stuff, but I was just awestruck by the fusing, by the lamp working, and that kind of stuff. And so fast forward years and years and years later, and I get a Delphi mailer, and my piece is on the cover of the Delphi mailer, and I couldn't. It was like one of those kind of pinch me moments. Like, I had gotten that catalog for years, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that one of my pieces that I made, a fusing piece nonetheless, because at the time I was really into stained glass, that would be on the cover of a Delphi mailer. So that was kind of a neat moment last year when that happened. And then another neat moment this year where my work was on the cover of Glass Patterns Quarterly. Like, hello. Same thing. I have old issues of Glass Patterns Quarterly that go back 20 years, and I would pour through every edition or every issue and love that. And it was always a gift subscription for my wife or something. And then this year I have in 2024, this last year, I had a piece on the cover with a tutorial inside. Like, holy crap. And sneak peek, there's another one coming. So the spring issue of Glass Patterns Quarterly mails next week. Next week it drops, and I have a piece in there. I don't know that it'll be on the cover again. I'd be shocked if it is. But if you're a subscriber to Glass Patterns Quarterly, yours truly has another piece featured in the spring issue that drops on Tuesday. So kind of fun times. I think it's Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, sometime next week. They'll hit the mail. Okay, what other questions do y'all have? Look at this. This is Neo Lavender. I just cut a disc of Neo Lavender. And I'm applying a decal to just plain old Neo Lavender. I just wanted to see what it would look like. I haven't done a lot of decals on just a single color sheet of glass. And so I'm doing a few more of those for this Vegas show, just to show that, look, these things, they make just plain glass look really cool. So so I was going through some scrap and picking out colors and found this Neo Lavender. I was like, that's fun, let's do that one. So I did Neo Lavender. This is obviously a transparent. Whoop, show it real fast. This is a transparent, but I have some turquoise and some mint green as well. And those are opaque. Oh, see, here I am again. I don't have another decal soaking. I need to do a better job of getting one going while I'm working. Lisa has that issue of Glass Patterns Quarterly. That's cool. Will you be making the decal for butterflies? No, although I think you could totally cut these decals into parts and make things like butterfly wings with them. I am not making a butterfly decal, but I think there's nothing stopping you from cutting these up, using one decal and getting, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Little hint, that's what I did for Glass Patterns Quarterly that comes out next week. Another little hint that might be related to what Tabitha and I are doing for the Glass Expo. So, buy one decal and get a couple of projects out of it to kind of make your dollars stretch, because as we all know, glass fusing is not inexpensive. Okay, pardon my reach. Am I even on camera? Yep. Just getting myself planned out here with my next decals. Okay. Kathy, you distracted me too, but the weave in the kiln should be fine. I have not done a weave yet, Kathy Bidler. I need to play with that. That's the problem with, having a full-time job, is that I've got so many fun ideas and projects I want to do and get to someday, and I just am not getting to them or giving myself the time. Pardon me. I'm losing track of what I'm doing. Okay. There, I'm trying to get myself organized. So I have lots of ideas, and doing a weave would be one of them. I think that would be cool. This stool is getting uncomfortable on my bum. Okay. What other questions do you have? We got a few more minutes. Would love to try to answer questions that you might have. You do not want me to sing, so I'm not going to do that. What, if you've been to Vegas before for the expo, I'm not going for any classes. We're going to have 3 days of the booth, and so I anticipate we are going to be exhausted after doing the booth every day. But you got to eat, so I've heard that there are some decent restaurants right there at the hotel. And that certainly sounds easy, because I think I'm just going to be tired. But if there's, and I've done Vegas before a couple of times, I don't think I'm going to feel like going to the Strip or like really stepping out and doing anything big. So if you have a favorite restaurant though that's nearby, whether it's in the hotel or not, share, because clearly I'm a guy who likes his food. So I'm already thinking about what I'm going to eat more than a month away in Las Vegas. Kathy, you're teaching a weave class? That's awesome. That's really cool. I should say maybe I should come, but I know how my May is going to be. Unfortunately, nobody cares about my health journey here, but I had a number of surgeries in 2024 for Achilles issues in my feet, and you kind of need your Achilles tendon to work well. And I had to have 2 surgeries on the right foot. I had a surgery on the left foot, and I have recently learned that the left foot did not take like it needs to, and I have to redo it this year. And so I am crushed, to be quite honest with you, because the recovery sucks. Foot surgery is just not fun. It's going to take me out of the office. I'm going to have to work from home. I'm going to be stuck at home. I can't come out and work on glass. I'm going to be off of my feet for like 6 weeks. I'm really kind of in a little bit of a funk about it, to be honest. So I've elected to do that after the Glass Expo, because I certainly don't want to miss the expo at this point. So if you're coming to the expo, you will see me limping, because I can't walk right. But after the expo, sometime in April, I'm probably going to have this surgery, which means in May, I'm going to be stuck at home recovering and not doing glass in the studio, not doing glass videos, and probably have a significant case of cabin fever and driving myself crazy. So, anywho, that's what I'm going to be doing in May, but Kathy's going to be teaching a weaving class, which I think is awesome. Okay. Lisa, bring KT tape for your Achilles. It works. Look it up on YouTube, how to apply the tape. I will. My daughter kind of blew out her knee last year and was using KT tape. And that was the first time I had ever heard of it. So I will take a look at that. Lisa, thanks for the tip, because getting around is going to be a little... I have a knee scooter, but it's big and it's bulky and it's a pain in the ass. And honestly, I'd kind of rather just hobble around and make do, which is what I've been doing since November, December anyway. So it's nothing new. And Kathy and I have already talked, and she's like, bring your scooter. And I know, I probably need to. And I haven't fully decided yet if I am or not. But after Vegas, I'm going to be having another surgery. I joked with my surgeon that he needs a punch card that, buy 3, get the 4th one free or something, because it's not cheap. And I'm a little heartbroken about the whole situation, but it is what it is. Okay, any other comments? You guys are getting bored of me. There's another one of those cranberry with the irid on it. I think it's so pretty. I'm assuming that's what the glass is. It wasn't marked. I'm assuming it's like a cranberry color. And that rainbow irid was very pretty. So when I apply the decal, I slide it on off the paper, and then I just get my finger wet and then just start working it around and getting the bubbles out, trying to get all the wrinkles out the best that I can. There are going to be some wrinkles, and that's okay. What's interesting is that as these decals dry, they kind of shrink up a little bit, and so that kind of helps take care of the wrinkles too. And so I'll come back out once they're dry, and I'll check for any air bubbles and kind of pop those and make sure that those are good. And then I'll fire these bad boys probably tomorrow night. Okay, folks, I got 4 more, and then when I'm done with these, I'm done, because I'm tired. And I got a really early day tomorrow at work, unfortunately. So, so after these 4 are done, then it is time for me to cuddle up with the doggies and go to bed. Pamela, you can rent an e-scooter and have it delivered to the hotel. Okay, that is a great idea, because that would save me from hauling it. Paula McCoy, I've used a KT tape for years in my shoulder and my back, and it's great. Paula, I've been thinking about you and your back, so I hope you're doing okay, my friend. Jay-Z, not bored at all. Been wearing headsets, co-working with you from my own studio. Nice to have learned more about you. Well, thank you. See, that is the community that I want. I kind of joke that nobody in my house is interested in glass, and they're not. And so that's why I started the YouTube channel. When I originally did that was because I just wanted to kind of share my journey with other people and kind of build a little bit of a community. And it's turned into way, way more than I ever expected it to. But selfishly, between us chickens, I'm kind of glad that nobody in my house is into glass, because this is my studio and my space, and I know where my stuff is and what my projects are and what's going on. And if anybody else came out here and started getting into my stuff and into my space, I probably wouldn't like it much anyway. So I joke like, no, nobody in my house cares about glass, but that might be a good thing, because if they did, then some giant bug in here. It's February in Texas and it's bug season already. Love it. Anyway, if they came in here and got into my space, then I might not like that anyway. So I'm kind of fine to have my space to get away to, and people often say like, man, you're out there doing all this stuff. What's your poor wife doing? And let me tell you, she's a reader. And so she is delighting in her own hobby, cuddled up on the couch, reading book after book after book. And I'm not so much a reader. And if you're a reader, you know that you can't really read with other people who are not readers, because then those other people talk and keep interrupting you while you're trying to read. So the fact that I escaped to the garage allows her to quietly sit on the couch and read, and I'm not in there interrupting her. So this is a marriage of equals here, where she needs her private time to do her single solitary hobby, and I need my private time to do what has become my solitary hobby, with 16,000 subscribers on YouTube. So it's solitary in the garage, but with a whole lot of viewers watching on the other end. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. These designs, guys, I'm super excited about some of these new designs. This is the first that I'm applying any of these decals, which I'm embarrassed to say, because I ordered these and they arrived back in November or maybe early December, and I just had not used any of them yet, and so I'm applying them for the very, very first time. So I'm super pumped to see these, as you can probably tell. Okay, may the Golden Girls be having a nice time. Yes, I think they are. It's gotten quiet in there. The Golden Girls is my wife's friend group. It's gotten a little quiet in there, but I'm sure they're still in there. They'll probably be in there for hours, and I got to go to bed. So I'm going to, when I'm done in the studio here, I'm going to slip into the house and go off to the bedroom and close the door, and they can have their private time, and I'll go to sleep, and I'll put in earbuds or something, and I'll never even hear them. I woke up, it was one of those mornings where I woke up at 4:10 in the morning, way before my alarm was going to go off, and I just bink awake. My eyes were open, my brain started working, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I've been up. I laid there for about 20 minutes and tried to convince myself that maybe I could fall back asleep, but I was wide awake and ready to go. So I got up and I went to work, and I was at the office at 6 o'clock this morning already. So it's been a long day, but so I will not have any problem going to sleep while she and her friends are in there visiting. Yeah, these are so cool. Sorry I can't share them. Don't be discouraged. You're such an inspiration to so many of us. You'll be back on your feet before you know it. Thank you. That is very nice of you to say, Tessa. You can scoot out to the garage, no problem, and keep on having fun while you heal. You know, I agree. And I did do a little bit of that last time. But I don't want to risk injuring myself and having to have another surgery afterwards. So I'm probably going to play it super safe this time around. So instead, I'll find something else to do. I'll design some new t-shirts for Amazon or something. We'll see. Okay, these are the last two decals here. Sue, is she bringing any cookies to Vegas? That is a great question. Sue knows. My wife bakes. That's her small business that she runs, a little cottage bakery business out of our home. And she bakes the most amazing cookies. And I will say, she honestly, this is not just the husband's opinion, but like, she totally gives Crumble Cookie a run for their money. If you know Crumble, I think her stuff is even better. So, so anywho, that is a good question, Sue. Maybe we need to bring some baked goods. We would not be selling those, because that would be a violation of the law, but maybe we need to have some for some of our special friends. I'll talk to her about that. That decal did not come off as well, and I think it's because I didn't let it soak very long. I'm getting impatient here. The good news is I can totally make it work, but it just, I'm getting impatient. I'm trying to move too quickly. Yeah, it's fine. I made it work. Lisa, cookies, please. Yes. Jean says you could show one decal. No. I could. You're right. I absolutely could. I won't. Sorry, not to be a tease. But this last one, I didn't think that this was my favorite. You know, it's hard. I mean, it's like your kids, right? Like, do you really have a favorite? 8 designs. I probably had, there are a couple of favorites in there, and I did not think this one was my favorite. But as I'm doing it, it might actually be. Yeah. I don't know. There's the other one, and there's a couple others in here that I really like. I like them all, honestly. I like them all. What's unique about this batch of the 8 designs, not all of them, but a few of them, 2 or 3, I think, are actual churches in Europe that we went and visited as a family on vacation, and I took photos, and I was like, that needs to be a window decal design. And so it is. The original ones that I very first launched were just inspiration that I got from the internet, but now I've got actual European church windows that I have seen in person, and so that's kind of fun. Kathy, yes, but they're all for Lyle. Yeah. Yeah, Kathy, if I bring cookies, I think everybody, you, me, Lyle, will be eating them. We'll see if we'll bring any. It's not a bad idea. I like that. Okay, last decal, everybody, which means I'm going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. See, that one went on nice and easy. This one's on Irid again, and it looks really cool. I really like the look of the Irid underneath this, so I think that's going to fire on really neat. Okay, well, hey, gang, if you're watching this live with me right now, then thank you for joining me. If you're watching this on replay later, then I hope it was entertaining. How long have we been on here? Oh gosh, it doesn't show that, but it's been long enough, that's for sure. So if you're watching this on replay, I hope you found it interesting. Thank you, everybody, for all your support for the decals and bales, and just subscribing on YouTube, and now following me on Facebook, and using my Amazon store link, and like all the things that you do to support me. I appreciate that so much. So thank you for that. I am about to drop off, so it looks like there's 16. Oh, hi from the UK. So it is in the middle of the night, Sheila. What are you doing? Like feeding babies, or what's going on? So, holy cow. Well, hello to you in the middle of your night. It is about to begin my going to sleep time, so it's time to log off. But thank you, everybody. Big hearts to everybody. Kathy, thank you. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys. And I can't wait to those of you who are going to be in Vegas. I can't wait to see you there. We're about a month out. So catch you all later. Bye-bye.